The Silent Sovereign, a cat's stoic revenge. The night Clara left, I was 35, leaning against the weathered railing of my cliffside shack. The sea's restless churn, a low growl beneath the stars. Ash, my gray tom with eyes like smoldering embers, sat on the porch ledge, his tail a slow lash cutting through the salt-heavy air. Her boots had crunched the gravel an hour earlier, her voice cold as she'd said, "You'll wait for me, won't you? I'm done here." The screen door banged shut, and I didn't chase, not with my feet, but my mind lunged after her, clawing through every moment I'd laid at her feet. My time, my care, my hope, all discarded like an afterthought. Ash didn't stir, just watched the dark road, his stillness a stark rebuke to my storm. I've been taught to chase, to plead, to prove my worth to someone who tossed me aside. Men are told that strength. Fight for her, show her you're enough, win her back with words or tears. I'd nearly done it, phone in hand, ready to flood her with desperate texts, begging her to see me. Clara had expected it too. She'd banked on my loyalty, assumed I'd always be there, a shadow she could summon when the world grew cold. Ash shifted then, leaping down with a soft thud, padding to his bowl. He nosed the dry scraps, turned away, and climbed the roof instead, calm, unyielding. What if silence hits harder than anything I could say? That thought flickered, an ember in the dark, and watching Ash settle above the shack, I chose a different path. Not anger, not begging, but absence, a void she'd feel like a wound. Ash, my stoic sovereign, would guide me, and the ancient wisdom I'd found in a storm-worn book would steel me. The breakup shattered illusions I'd clung to like driftwood. Clara thought I'd crumble, flood her phone with why, and come back, drown in the wreckage she'd left. Most men do, chasing the ghost of what was, believing their pain will pull her back. I'd felt it, the urge to react, to prove I was suffering, to watch her posts and beg for a sign. She'd wanted that, freedom to walk away, validation from others, pictures of her laughing splashed online, all to twist a knife and see me bleed. Ash didn't chase. When a gull snatched his fish one dusk, he didn't lunge, just sat, licked a paw, and let it fly off, his ember eyes steady. She expects me to break, I thought, staring at my silent phone. I didn't. No texts, no calls, just nothing, a void where I'd been. At first, she'd feel free, relieved, even telling herself she'd dodged a weight. She'd post her nights out, expecting me to watch, to crack, to prove she still held me. But days passed, then weeks, and I gave her silence. Ash taught me, indifference terrifies. When I forgot his water, he didn't yowl. He found a puddle, returned with wet whiskers, unbothered. I mirrored him, ran the cliffs at dawn. The seas roared, drowning my noise. Wrote stories by lantern light, ink bleeding my truth. She'd check her phone, find no trace of me, and doubt would creep in. Did he care? Is he gone? Marcus Aurelius's words rang in my head, scribbled in that attic book. The one who cares less holds the power. I didn't chase, didn't beg. I walked away, and her illusion of control shattered in the quiet. The last message was my turning point. Most men falter here, spilling paragraphs of pain or anger, hoping to fix what's broken or guilt her back. I nearly sent one. I gave you everything, why? Ash didn't plead. When a stray tom took his porch spot, he didn't fight, just leapt to the roof, his exit final. Silence is the statement. I typed one line, simple, composed. I respect your decision. Take care. Send it, shut off my phone and let it sink. No desperation, no questions, just an ending, a door slammed shut. She'd read it. Once, twice, 3 times, searching for more, but there'd be nothing. She'll wonder why it's so final. I thought, watching Ash perch high, untouchable, That message wasn't for her. It was for me, a line in the sand, shifting power to the man who didn't cling. Her mind would spin. Was he leaving anyway? Did I matter? I'd given her no closure, just absence, and that weight would grow heavier with time. The void came next. She'd feel it, slow and creeping. At first, she'd bask in her freedom, filling her days with noise, friends, posts, distractions, convinced I was a phase she'd outgrown. She'd expect me to reach out, to prove she still owned me. Ash didn't linger. When I swapped his mat for a crate, he didn't sulk, just claimed the wood, his gray coat gleaming. Take it away, and they notice. I vanished. No calls, no likes, no shadow on her feed. She'd open her phone, expecting my name, and find nothing. The shack's quiet became my fortress. I ran harder, wrote fiercer, lived without her gaze. People don't value what's always there, I realized. Ash's ember eyes tracing me from the roof. Her mind would fill the vacuum. Why isn't he there? Is he over me? That silence, once her power, now made her invisible, a ghost in my absence. Then came the glow up, becoming the man she'd lost. She'd think I crawled back, playing games to win her. Ash didn't play. When a storm flooded his bowl, he didn't paw me. He hunted the cliffs, returning with a gleam in his stride. Evolve, don't sulk. I used the pain as fuel. Hit the cliffs until my legs burned. Worked the docks until my hands calloused. Rode until my story stacked like timber. A dockhand posted a shot. Me sharper, stronger, fire my eyes. And she'd see it a jolt through her smug haze. He's not the man I left, she'd think, regret curling in her gut. I wasn't suffering, I was thriving, not for her, but for me. She thought me broken. I became unbreakable. Ash ruled the roof, a silent king. I ruled my life, a sovereign she'd never touch. The echo followed, her reaching out, testing my silence. It started small, like on an old post, a hey. At 2 a.m. she'd delete. Ash didn't bite. When I dangled a string, he'd sniff, walk away, unmoved. She's curious, not contrite. I saw her text, how you been? And let it sit unanswered. She'd expect me to leap, to prove she still held me. But I gave her nothing. Indifference is my weapon. I thought. Ash's purred a steady hum beside me. She'd try again. Missed you. And I'd stay silent, unshaken. She want control, not me. Most men cave here, chasing the bait. But I knew. Her reach was regret, not love. I'd become rare, untouchable, a prize she couldn't reclaim. Regret hit when she saw me move on. She told herself I didn't matter, until she scrolled. Saw me laughing with dockhands, my stride steady, my eyes clear. Ash didn't mourn. When a stray took his fish, he hunted anew, thriving without a glance back. She'll see I'm better without her. A friend's post, me with a woman, maybe a date, maybe not, would burn her. He's replaced me. She'd replay us, wonder what she'd lost, realize I wasn't waiting. My purpose outweighs her regret. I knew. Ash leaping to the sill, his reign absolute. She'd feel the sting, not just of loss, but of my rise and man she couldn't reach. She'd know it was over when I became unreachable. She'd try harder, a longer text. I messed up, hoping to stir old embers. Ash didn't return. When I left for shifts, he didn't wait, just ruled the shack beyond my call. Shut the door, don't linger. I didn't reply. Silence, cold and final. I never chase, only replace. I thought, my life a fortress she couldn't breach. She'd see. I'd evolved past her, her pleas too late. She lost the privilege. I mused, Ash's ember eyes glinting, a king who'd never bow. The Stoic mindset sealed it, mastering emotional control. Most men falter when she returns, nostalgia pulling them back. Ash didn't waver. When the Tom lingered, he watched, climbed higher, unmoved. My mind is my fortress, I vowed. Marcus's words my shield. Control over emotions is control over life. Her texts, can we talk? Met silence. Her posts ignored. I ran cliffs, wrote epics, lived steady, untouchable. She can't shake me. I knew. Ashes ray my mirror. Power wasn't her regret. It was my indifference, a throne built from quiet. The final reflection came a year on. I'd never return. She'd hope I'd soften. That time would pull me back. Ash didn't look back. When the goal flew off, he hunted anew, his past dead. The past is dead. I live for the future. I wrote, gratitude replacing longing. Clara's exit forged me. Without it, I'd have stayed small. Sure wish she'd kept me. I thought, Ash beside me, gray coat gleaming. But I didn't care. I'd become the silent sovereign, a man who never looked back. Now, Ash sits on the ledge, his ember eyes tracing the dawn, while I write by the sea's home, my shack a kingdom of quiet. Clara's texts fade, her regret, not my burden. The docks pay steady, my stories rise. I'm stoiccat, crowned by absence, sovereign of my silence. She thought me a shadow, I became a king. I never chased, never begged. My absence was my revenge, my throne unassailable.